Hi everyone, how are you today? Thank you for joining me, Kathleen, with Kathleen at Home. I'm glad you're here. I will tell you, I don't have any statistics for you this week. What I wanted to do was kind of just have a little chat about some of the things I've pulled out and why they're going. And while I'm chatting about my things, I am curious about what you're doing with your decreasing, your decluttering, and how you're making some of the decisions that you're making. One of the things I've been thinking about as I've been doing this is a couple things. One, why did I bring the thing into my home in the first place? Second of all, why am I keeping it? And then of course you have to make the decision whether you're keeping it or not. So I have several things here in the living room that I've brought out as part of this conversation. So a couple weeks ago, I did a little video on the suitcase, the Tupperware suitcase that my mom had and that I gave some new life to. In that suitcase, what had been stored in that suitcase were toys from my children's, when they were little teeny tinies. And one of the things that was in there was this cute little white, black, and red book. You'd take this to church or, out and about as a little activity book. And when my kids were young, the whole, the stark contrast between the colors was to help with their focus and attention. And I kept this because all six of my kids, played with this little book, and it has a lot of, had a lot of meaning to me. But as I look at it, it's not in great shape. It's got some stains on it and it's kind of dingy. I could keep this because I'm sentimentally attached to it, but I'm probably not going to have any of my granddaughters use it. So I'm making the tough decision that this came into my house, was used well, enjoyed, but now it doesn't serve any purpose. So I'm going to throw this in the trash can. Now, if you're finding yourself at these kind of points too, where you go, I know this needs to go in the trash can, but it's still a little hard because you feel like you're throwing away or giving away a little piece of your heart or a little piece of your life that you treasure. Take a deep breath. It's okay. It's okay to look at that item. It's okay to hold on to it and hug it and, whatnot. But if it needs to go on its way, send it on its way with some happy thoughts and happy memories. So here's one item for me. I have another item that didn't come in sentimentally, but it's still an item that, I'm glad I have. This is just knocked something over. This is a fountain. I've always wanted to have a fountain. I love water. Moving water or a big pond or what have you delights my soul. So when I saw this, Brad and I saw this at a thrift shop, we're like, yeah, let's buy that. Even though it needed repaired, it ran, the motor worked, but it needed repaired. Brad's even bought a piece of tubing here to repair it. But I think this has probably been sitting in our basement since before the pandemic. So 5 years. The intention was to fix it, have it sit on our beautiful front porch, let that beautiful sound of moving water add to the tranquility of our front porch, but it hasn't happened. Could Brad fix this? Of course he could. Brad just repaired our furnace. He's an amazing at all those kind of things. He just can, I just don't think he can ever get stumped if he gets stumped, not for too long on repairing something. But anyhow, could he fix this? Of course he could. Do I still really want him to invest the time and maybe a little bit more money, I don't know, in repairing this? And my answer is no. I no longer really want to have this little fountain sitting on the front porch. So I'm not going to ask Brad to spend any more time or any more money repairing this. Now, there might be someone out there that very much would like to, spend a little bit of time and have this little water fountain going at their place. So I'm going to pass this on to a thrift shop, and I'm going to be happy to think that somebody else is going to enjoy this piece, whereas I've just been having it sit in the basement. So if you've got something like that, you really had great intentions for it, but you just haven't gotten around to it, is it still something you want to have? Is it still really of value to you? If your answer is yes, then here's my challenge for you. Pull it out this week, fix it, wash it down, whatever it needs so that you can enjoy it. And I would love to hear what you did in the comments, or again, you can always message me. Comment, what did you do and how much are you enjoying that item now? Let's pull those things out of the basement, out of the storage, out of the attic, out of the garage, and let's use those things that we really, really say we want to use. But for me, this item's going to my local thrift shop. The thrift shops I like to donate to are ones that have some sort of mission attached to them. So this is going to go off to a local thrift shop that is mission oriented. It's going to be the same thrift shop that I purchased this item for. So again, asking myself and you asking yourself, why did I buy this item in the first place? So I bought this item a couple years ago because I was so excited when I saw it at the thrift shop. It was marked down to $5.99, and that was kind of startling to me because I knew what this was, and maybe the person that priced it didn't know what it was, or maybe they too realized that, you know, maybe this season for people is over. What this piece of beautiful oak, it's not furniture, this oak tool is to hold your cross stitch in. So let me get this turned around. I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer. You're not gonna be able to see the whole thing once I have this closer. What happens is you have your cross stitch frame. This is for a large cross stitch project. You would put your cross stitch frame in here. And so this cross stitch frame is going to be held for you because sometimes when you're working on a very large project, holding that frame on your forearm gets very tiring. So this would hold your project frame. What this is a wonderful tool to hold your pattern right here for you. So you're working your pattern. There's a basket here to hold any supplies. You know, maybe you have some extra cross-stitch books or patterns that you have in here, and you have that sitting there. There's a little tray here for, you know, floss, needles, scissors, etc. And when I saw this at the thrift shop, I thought, oh my goodness, $5.99 for something. I'm sure back in the day, I do remember looking at these, and I want to say they were somewhere between $150 and $200. That was out of my price range. That just was not going to work for you know, what I could afford, so I never got one. When I saw this at the thrift shop, I thought, oh my goodness, now I can have one. And I'm so excited because, you know, I always wanted one. I brought this home a couple years ago. First of all, it's a large frame. And secondly, I had just recently finished what was probably my last ever cross stitch project. I'm finding, you see the readers here on and off, but it's getting harder to read those small cross stitch patterns. Even when I'd have it sitting right here, that would not be easy. I'm not 100% sure that I will never cross stitch again, but I don't think I will ever cross stitch anything that needs this frame. So then I tried to tell myself, well, this would hold your rug hooking, you know, frame, which that lasted all of about 3 seconds because Brad had already bought me a beautiful rug hooking frame that makes it very easy to hold rug hooking projects out in front of you. True confession, because you're going to hear this in another video, I have collected supplies, I've collected equipment, I have a real desire to start rug hooking, but I haven't yet. So when I get to my craft supplies, I'm going to have a long, hard conversation with myself about, are you truly going to take up rug hooking? If not, you've got some equipment to sell and some supplies to sell and or give the supplies away. But anyhow, so that's another decision. There's another thing that I really, really want to do it, but I haven't gotten around to it. This is something I really, really enjoyed doing. I loved cross stitching. I have made some, I say this humbly, beautiful cross stitch items. If you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to grab two. Oh, no, I'm not. I've already put them away. I thought I still had stockings sitting out, but I've made all my family beautiful, intricate stockings. I've done pictures. I've done a lot of cross stitch. I loved it. And so when I saw this, I bought it. I bought it because the someone I used to be would like to have something I used to want to have. Have you done that too? Have you bought something like, oh, yeah, I remember that, and you've bought it? Maybe it's a piece of clothing. You know, oh, those were, you know, such cute, you know, sweaters when I was in college or high school, and you bought one. And you think a year or 2 or 10 later, you go, I don't wear this style anymore. It doesn't belong in my closet. It's so easy to do that. This was a $6 purchase for something that I wanted way back when. But now all it's really done is take up space in my craft storage area. So despite the fact that this is a beautiful piece of equipment, and I think it's awesome, it too is going to go to the thrift shop because it's not me anymore. I'm not cross-stitching large projects anymore. So for me to keep a hold of this, you know, clunk around it, you know, it's a big piece, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to give it back to the thrift shop that I bought it from, and maybe someone will come along and that is still cross-stitching, or somebody that wants to all of a sudden take up a form of artwork that this would be great for. Could this hold, you know, a painting? Could this hold a frame for weaving? With that thought, I might ask my friend that weaves first if she'd like it before I send it to the, that's a good idea. So Hope, I'll be reaching out to you. But somebody's going to have a better use for this than me just having it sitting in my craft area. So what about you? Could you clear out some clutter, some stuff, some nice, valuable things that other people might enjoy, clearing your space and releasing it for someone else? I'd like to hear about that. I'd love to hear about that. I hope you are enjoying this adventure of decreasing the items in your home. It's been very interesting, the process. I had hoped to do a video about how I was going through my file cabinets. I did a short little video about, you know, stacks of files that I've gotten rid of. Well, I'm to some tough files, things that, you know, articles that I've cut out that I'm going through, some things that, some articles that I wrote myself. So that video is probably not going to happen. I thought that would be a big push through, done, check mark. It's been, you know, something I thought would be not difficult to do, but it is. I am aware that crafts and whatnot is going to be a difficult category, but maybe you're running into that too. So if you're in one of those hard sections where you're having trouble parting with things, trouble making some decisions, give yourself some grace. Take your time. Make sure that you're doing the job that you want to do. And I recently watched a video on decluttering, and this gal said something that I think I know in my head, but I hadn't really put it into words myself, was we can always make these come back arounds. You know, first round through, maybe some of these things stay because you're just not ready to make that decision. But second round through, you go, you know what? That wasn't the decision I needed to make. I need to get rid of this. Might be a thought. Well, I have you here. I wanted to show 2 little items. One of my viewers and subscribers, so I hope you are a subscriber. If you're not, go ahead, click subscribe. That way we can chat regularly. Plus, maybe somebody else will come along on this adventure with us. But somebody had commented they wished I would have shown some of the things that I talked about when I said I was going through my grandma's items. So what I've got with me are 2 items. One of them was one of the things that I knocked over, is this awesome green canning jar. This happens to be a ½ gallon. This is from my grandma. Brad looked it up. Some of these green old jars have some high value, but like I keep telling Brad, somebody's got to be willing to spend that kind of money to get the high value. Currently, I'm hanging on to these because they were my grandma's. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have several of these large jars. My mom always steered away from canning in the green jars. I don't really remember the reason why, and I would like to do some research on that so that I can understand if it was something that she just, in her mind's eye, chose not to do, or if there was some sort of reason now. Like some of the Tupperware that my mom has, I'm not going to use for food storage because the Tupperware is, 40, 50 years old. I don't know if it's still, the same kind of quality that we're looking for healthy food storage. She's got some really nice big boxes. I'm going to use those for kind of like a tote kind of thing, but I probably won't use them for food storage. But the other thing I wanted to show you, I'll let you go ahead. I'll see if I can get this close enough and clear enough for you. This is the note that was in these pie plates. So these little notes are something I've found in a number of things from my grandma. She wrote on this one, wedding presents, but can't remember from whom anymore. Baked many pies in them. And I said in my video that I was gonna have pie plates from my grandma. These are 3 pie plates that are 99 years old. I am going to bake 3 pies for the family reunion this year and allow the whole family to get to hear that I still have grandma's pie plates that she received as a wedding gift in 1926. So that's something my mom also did because she was inspired by her mother-in-law to put little notes on things. It makes things, rather than these just be some old pie pans that were in my box of items that I purchased at my grandma's auction. Now I have a little bit of connection. These were a wedding gift, 1926. So again, I'm going to enjoy that. So there, in response to somebody who had asked me to show a couple of the things that I was talking about, there they are. Excuse me. All right. So again, no statistics this week, but a little chat with you. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope you have a chance to take a 15-minute, half hour, maybe you have a whole afternoon to work on your decluttering, but take the time that you need to make the decisions you need. All right, till I see you next time, many blessings.